Hey guys, it's Gundam Art here, and today I want to be looking at this, which is Bandai's customized scene base, city or area version from their 30-minute mission series, and it appears to be number 6 in their line of customized scene bases, retailing for 1100 yen. Now I imagine this review is going to be on the shorter side since it's not an articulated model kit, so I won't be going into my 5 categories as I did with the previous video, but I did nonetheless think it'd be interesting to share a few quick thoughts I have on this set. I always thought it'd be cool to spice up my Gunpla display by putting them next to some buildings. However, it can be difficult to find stuff that's in scale with 1/144th scale model kits, so it seems like Bandai decided to come up with a solution. As I mentioned before, this set ties into Bandai's 30-minute mission series, which you can see illustrated right here. It's basically like their equivalent of Bionicles, and I haven't built any myself, but the key thing to note here is that it says it's perfect for 1/144th scale models, meaning just about all of your high grades will be in scale with it. Hell, you could even get creative and throw some stuff in that's out of scale. Maybe throw your master grades in there. The sky's the limits. Anyways, let's take a closer look at the packaging now. Okay, so starting off, and apologies if the shine of the packaging makes it kinda hard to make out. But anyways, we get an example shot of what it would look like if we bought multiple of these sets. And my guess is that's about 3 of them. I don't know, that's just what it looks like to me. Down here we get an idea of what it would look like if you painted the set. And since people paint their Gunpla, it's only natural that Bandai makes it so that you could paint their sort of like diorama sets too. So it's cool that they give you just a little bit of inspiration if you're maybe unsure of how to take it one step further. And here's a look at everything that comes in the package all snapped together. I honestly don't know why I didn't look at this first. They seem to call particular attention to the wires for the electrical cables, and I'm gonna be real, I don't know how I feel about these. The way they're gathered up like that, it doesn't seem like you'd be able to create much of a convincing electrical wire effect, but I'll just have to see for myself. On the back, we can see what we could achieve if we combine them with more of Bandai's custom scene bases. This is from their snowy terrain set, which is of course sold separately. Here's some 30-minute mission mechs wreaking havoc on the city with some various effect parts. And down here we get a preview of everything that comes with the package. We get 3 of these road pieces, all of these down here which I assume are connection pieces. We get 4 building blocks, 2 of which appear to be damaged, and the other 2 are unscathed. Right here we got telephone poles and street lights, 2 of each. Oh yeah, and I can't forget that wire. And last but not least, the generic Bandai action base, which I assume comes in some form or another in all of these custom base kits. With all that out of the way, it's time we look inside the bag. Taking a look at the manual printed on the back, it's really straightforward. The instructions are all in English, so you should have no trouble with assembly. There's not much for me to cover in terms of build, since 30-minute mission kits are kinda known for their modularity, and there's not really much of a wrong way to build it, but the instructions do a good enough job telling you which parts fit where. The first runner we get in the bag is CSB5, and I forgot to mention earlier, but all of the plastic is polystyrene, so you should have no trouble with painting. This runner contains all of the pieces for the building blocks and a curved section of the road. I think the textures and surface details are really nice, much better than I was expecting. Next you have 2 CSB6 runners, which have the straight sections for the road, all the connection pieces you need to build the highway, the light posts, and the telephone poles. Here's your base pedestal with a connection piece to link 2 bases together. Lastly, this wire. Oh god, I do not like this wire at all. Still, maybe I'm casting my judgment too early. Let's find out if it's possibly not as bad as I'm making it out to be. Once you got the necessary pieces cut out of the runners and all snapped together, here's an idea of one of a number of display options you could end up making. Now, I'm going to do a brief rundown of all of the contents that come included in this set. Sorry if I overlook details like its modularity with 30-minute mission kits, which again, I don't have any on me at the moment. I'm mostly just going to be going by the manual on this. Starting off with the building blocks, you can stack them in any order you want, and they all snap together seamlessly. You can even get creative and place them unevenly for a more destroyed look. The maximum building height you can get out of the one set is about 3/4 the size of the average high grade, or in this case I have here the entry grade RX-78-2. You could split it up into 2 buildings, but unless you have a very specific shot in mind, the effect created by them just isn't going to be very impressive. Finally, if you want to attach it to the base pedestal, you get this plug you can sandwich between the 2 building block parts. Once it's in, you can place it in one of the larger holes on the base pedestal, and the building will be nice and secure. Next up are the road pieces, and I'm just going to take a moment to quickly touch on the light posts. There's not much to say, but they're neat, and you can fit them in any of the 3mm holes you see here. As for the roads themselves, you can attach them in just about any order you want. However, it's important to note that the straight sections have a connection piece only on one end and an attachment point on the other, whereas the curved sections only have attachment points, so you're going to be kind of limited in your placement options. That said, you can easily flip the pieces around as well. To raise the highway above the ground, you get these pillars, and there's a peg at the bottom which you can connect to an action-based pedestal, but we'll look at that in just a moment. If you want the pillars to stand on their own, there's these blocks for them to plug into so they stay flat on the ground. Then to attach them to the road, you just clip them on anywhere on the railing underneath. With that, you have a cool looking highway section ready to go. But I will warn that the grip for the pillars isn't the strongest and they get knocked over really easily. Going back to attaching the highway onto the action-based pedestal, the pillar plugs into the larger holes the same way as the building. Oh yeah, the manual also mentions you could snap the pillars together for, I guess, an even higher highway, but I can't imagine getting much utility out of that unless you have another set. Now, to create a terraced highway like we saw in some of the photos, you get 4 of these connection bits to attach one piece of road above another. What's odd is there are 2 of them you have to build yourself, and for whatever reason they have some articulation in them. I don't exactly know what the purpose of this is, but it's there I suppose. So you're going to want to insert all 4 connection bits in the 3mm holes on either side of the flat road piece. It seems what works best is joining 2 of the same road sections together, since the curved road only has 3 3mm holes, and you only get 1 of those. Be sure to properly align the articulated connection bits since they have the tendency to bend. Also be wary of stressing the plastic pegs as the connection is a little tight, so you might not want to be converting the highway too often. Place the other road section on top, and there you have it, a terraced highway. It's an interesting display option, though I don't think I see highways like this often, if at all, so I don't really see myself setting it up like this. Still, there's definitely a lot of potential for creativity for those who have a more ambitious vision than me. And at last we get to the telephone poles, and here's where I kinda strayed away from the instructions a bit, because it says to cut the wires to your desired length, but instead I just kinda lassoed the wire from one telephone pole to the other, and that's because I have something else in mind for it. In my opinion, this wire is kinda crummy. It doesn't even thread through anything, it just kinda squeezes between the little rods on the telephone pole. I mean, they do a decent enough job gripping onto the wire, so that's a positive. To attach the telephone poles to the action-based pedestal, you just stick them in the 3mm holes. And looking at it this way, honestly the wires don't look too bad. You know, I think if you're going for more of a destroyed city look, I think the crumminess of the wires might actually go in favor of that aesthetic. I think that about covers everything in this set. Overall, I quite like it, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone who's interested in making their Gunpla display a little more visually interesting. Yeah, there are some mediocre aspects about it, but for like $10 you get a pretty decent looking diorama set that's quick and easy to put together. Which is why I got 2 of them. Well folks, that's it for this review. Since there's not much else for me to say, I'm just gonna end it off by showcasing some of the things you could do with these custom scene bases. Please enjoy some of my amateur diorama film work. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, be sure to hit the like button, comment any thoughts you might have, and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. On that note, sorry for not uploading for such a long time. I know it's been just one video and I just go completely MIA. I actually just recently finished this Gundam Art piece, and to be honest, it's been kicking my ass for like over a month. I've never done any actual mobile suit art before, so this was definitely a challenge for me, but I was really determined on getting it done. So if you want to check that out, be sure to visit my Twitter via the link below. Unfortunately, it might be another while before I upload another review, and that's because I'm actually going to be doing my first master grade review, and I'm going back to the style I used in my first video. So I hope you look forward to that. Now, I really want to strike a good balance between making art and making videos, because those are two things I'm really passionate about. And since I'm just barely getting into video making, it's really difficult. But if you really do like the kind of content I put out, then I hope you're willing to be just a little patient and do check back in for future uploads. But that's really all I got to say for right now. This is Gundam May Cry, signing out.